name's Shannon Keith, and I'm the founder of Sudara, and really excited to share with you the Sudara story and really give a peek behind the scenes of where we've been and where we're going and the growth we're going to be able to experience to impact the lives of more women and children in India. So today I have with me two very special guests, Kelly Kearsley, who is a wonderful advocate and part of the business community here in Bend, and a friend and partner of mine, Lisa Flynn. So Kelly has graciously accepted the invitation to moderate this conversation for us today, and I just really appreciate you being here, Kelly, so thank you.
Thanks, Shannon. I think this is going to be a great conversation. We are going to cover a lot of ground in 20 minutes. The things we want to hit on are some exciting leadership changes you guys have coming to Sudara that I think people will be interested in. We want to talk about a prestigious accelerator program that you guys got accepted into, and that just made me so excited. And a bit of a change and evolution in your strategy that I think everyone will want to know about. So first up, Shannon, can you tell us a little bit about the leadership change and what's happening there?
Yeah, I couldn't be more thrilled to announce that I am going to be appointing Lisa Flynn as the new CEO of Sudara. And part of the reason that I'm so excited is because Lisa just brings a breadth of skill and heart and passion and competency that will really help, I believe, and I know in my heart, take Sudara to the next level. Mm-hmm. And when I think about equity and shared leadership and the opportunity to build out an amazing team, I just couldn't be more thrilled than to have Lisa at the helm, because I know we've done a lot of great things so far together as a community at Sudara, but there's still so much work to be done, mm-hmm. and I think Lisa's the right person to help us in this next generation of Sudara.
How lucky am I?
Right? Well, at least I know.
I
I have known you for a long time, and you have a long and awesome background in business. Can you tell us just a little bit about what you've been doing up to this point?
Sure, yes. So started in marketing. Actually, my education was in marketing and psychology. And then my first business I started in 2001 was a marketing strategy firm, and sold that in 2007. When I fell into the entrepreneur, there's got to be a better way situation, mm-hmm. when I took my kids to get their picture taken, and ended up starting a children's photography studio and franchising that, which mm-hmm. is where I really found my love of systems. My day job had been in marketing, I usually say, and then really kind of got bit by the entrepreneurial bug. So after that, that business I did have some venture backing for, and then had a couple other businesses, went the technology route for a little while, more venture backing, and then took a little break. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, at some point, and came back and reconnected with Shannon for this whole story to really kind of come together in this beautiful place where we both were looking for something and found that partnership in each other. So
nice. And I think one thing we were talking earlier that I thought was really interesting is you guys talked about how you really are going to complement each other in mm-hmm. this work going forward. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think we can speak for both of us, but Lisa can certainly chime in. We just really believe in strength-based leadership and collaboration, and that we can, some of those softer skills that I think have been attributed to more female leadership, but that is the way forward. So when we look at Sudara wanting to be a model that helps solve complex issues, not only in the business and equity and all of that, but we have a mission, and that's helping women and children have opportunities for pathways to freedom out of sex trafficking through economic freedom. Mm-hmm. And so that's a pretty complex issue. Right. And so when we look at, not one person can embody all the strengths to solve complex problems like that, so the team of team approach and using complementary strengths on a team to really propel the whole mission forward is really where we're focused.
Mm-hmm. Which is such a game changer. So Shannon and I have both run businesses successfully ourselves, and this truly is a better together concept. And I've been behind the scenes for about 9 months now, and so we've really had a chance to work together in that capacity. And part of the background and even how we met, I was an advisor. I've been a fan of Sudara for from the moment that I met Shannon and heard about the concept. So we've had a chance to work together in the past, but we both, I had my own thing going on at the time. So it's night and day to be able to come together with this true intentionality around what we want to do, and building a different type of culture and a different type of company, and being innovative in that space, and have found, one of Sudara's core values is collaboration, and so really being able to live that, turns out it works.
Who knew?
Right? So,
Nice. And so, obviously, I mean, it is working. I was so excited when we were talking to learn a bit more about an exciting trip you guys have planned. And it's not just, it's a trip, but it's also a huge step forward for Sudara. Can you talk a little bit about the Tommy Hilfiger Accelerator?
absolutely, we're going to Amsterdam!
Yay!
So, yes, so one of the first orders of business for me in this new role is our big goal is actually international expansion. And so Tommy Hilfiger has they call it the Fashion Frontier Challenge, and it's their accelerator, which is a corporate social responsibility or CSR initiative for Tommy Hilfiger. And what they're committing to doing is helping startups and scale-ups in the ethical fashion and sustainable fashion space. They're wanting to help them do better at what they do. And so we were thrilled to be selected as one of 6 finalists in the world to go to this accelerator. And the first thing we're doing is actually we're getting on a plane through modern technology momentarily to head to Amsterdam to work on what they call a design sprint. So we get to work on something that we need help with, and Tommy Hilfiger, Uncle Tommy, as I've started taking it back to calling him
Very
these
tight.
days. Right, totally. When I actually meet him, I feel like that's really going to solidify it. Yeah. So they actually fly people from Tommy Global to Amsterdam to work with the different teams to help solve problems within their business. So one of the first things we're going to work on is fit, because not only to help with what's going on in with our direct consumer channel right now,
Right.
but for that international expansion, we want to make sure that we have a universal sizing situation that's going to work for people everywhere and work for all people everywhere. So some of the other things we're going to be talking about and looking at is how do we potentially degenderize the line. So just because pants have flowers on them, does that mean those are women's pants, or can anybody wear those pants? So we're really looking forward to the opportunity to explore a lot of these options and to be able to really tighten up the product for not only our existing customers who are awesome and amazing, and we would not be in this situation without them, but in being able to open up to a whole new audience of customers as well that will become part of the Sudara family.
Mm-hmm. And Shannon, I want to ask you a question, but a detail about the accelerator that I think people should know. What happens at the end of it?
That's the best part. Did you ask Shannon that though, or did you ask me that?
Either.
Shannon,
Okay,
what
sure.
happens at the end of the
At the
accelerator?
end, right. So it's kind of a 2-part accelerator. And the first part is this design sprint, which we're really excited. And then in February, all 6 teams go back to pitch for money. So 2 out of the 6 teams will have a chance at taking all or part of 150,000 euros that, again, as part of their CSR component, are choosing to invest in these brands that are helping the world just do better through fashion. So we like our chances. We have a 33.3% chance of coming out with some
We
cash.
calculated it.
We've done the
But
math.
who's counting? So that's really fun, and that will really help in that global expansion arena. Just a little bit of gas money to be able to implement some of the things that their team will be helping us on through the sprint. So it's kind of a 2-part thing, and we're hoping, our friends, our audience will be taking that journey with us, because like we said, this is the first edition of sort of our behind the scenes campaign, if you will, or our journey, but we will be sort of doing a chronology as we go in Amsterdam all along the process.
Yep. And as people are following along, is there anything that you need or want from them? I mean, Lisa, you're talking about some of this fit challenges.
Yes. So
Anything they can do?
There is something they can do, and this is going to sound a little bit weird, but we're okay with that. We want you to tell us what we could do better. We want our customers who have known and loved Sudara and who have been along for the ride, and because they believe in the mission, as we do, about empowering women, we want to hear what we could do better. So we'd love to hear that in a loving and compassionate way, of course.
Kindness counts, friends. Kindness counts.
Right, but we really do want to do better, and we want to be able to address different body types and different different people, not only in the United States, but as we are expanding globally, we want to hear from people, all over the world with what we can do. And so if people want to follow along, as Shannon said, we're starting this behind the scenes look. So we're going to be pretty transparent in what we're doing as we grow. So we do have this what we call a BHAG, this big, hairy, audacious goal of international expansion, in a few months' time, and we can't do it alone. And that's, I think part of the theme, so first of all, from Shannon and I, partnering up here and the team that we've been building and that have been actually when I say we've been building, it's the people coming to us. It's been pretty amazing how that's worked out. But really, the community at large is where our power is, where our strength is. And so the more that that our Sudara fam, we should hashtag that, Sudara fam, can follow along and just give us their thoughts and input is super, super helpful for us.
Right. I like that because it brings that connection back to your customer. Also something that, Shannon, I know is important to you is this notion of kind of being transparent in what it's like to found a business and grow a business, and particularly in the realm of women in business. Can you guys talk a little bit about how you see that kind of fitting in with this opportunity you have in Accelerator, and then also behind the scenes being really transparent?
Yeah, I love that. I'll start, and then Lisa, I would love for you to chime in.
Sure.
I'm usually even some of the like strategic about
Sorry, it's hard to get it out of Lisa.
Right.
Okay, we have so much fun together, and we actually do get work done, I promise. We laugh a lot, but we get a lot of stuff done too, which is great. That's how we roll. So with the behind the scenes, now I forgot the question. I'm so like,
Why do you want to be transparent?
Oh, why do we want to be transparent? I love it.
It helps for you to connect to your customers, but there's also actually more that it does too.
Yeah, I think just this whole idea of turning our rhetoric into action. So people talk, and as it should, with Brene Brown and vulnerability and what does that look like. And we live in a time where there's so many negative inputs or people creating false personas, because they want to live this life that they don't, and there's a disconnect. And so I really do feel like our power is in our vulnerability and the willingness to say, even with this leadership, sharing, shift, I can't do it all. And maybe I'm not meant to do it all. And maybe I'm not even wired to do it all. But what is it that I can bring, my best strengths? And what is it that Lisa can, and synergistically working together? But there's a flip side to that too, right? So we have weaknesses, we have failures. That's part of life. That's where learning happens. And so I think if we can model that in a really actionable way, we don't just talk about it like this, but we're actually going to give concrete examples of what did it look like to fail? What does burnout look like? If we're on the road to burnout, how do we help each other? Not just us and the Sudara team, but our larger community. How do we help other female entrepreneurs that are facing some of our similar challenges? I mean, that idea that Lisa already said of being better together, that's not just the two of us. We feel like that encompasses so much more. And so, yes, it's about Sudara and it's about a mission, but it's also about a life well lived. Right? And that we wear many hats, and we're also wives and mothers and friends and community members and daughters. And the entrepreneurial journey specifically can be all encompassing, but being a working mom wearing many hats, as Kelly, can be all encompassing as well. And so I think just kind of, just combating this idea of perfectionism and saying, you don't have to be that, and what can we be, and how do we blaze our own trail? We certainly don't have all the answers. So Lisa and I do not want to put off this persona that we have it all figured out. We don't.
Right.
We have a few things figured out, and we are going to learn and stumble and fail and pick each other back up along with the broader Sudara team along the way. And that's what we want to be just really open booked about.
Yeah, and we, not only talking about leadership in terms of Sudara, but leadership as women in business, to be able to show, Shannon touched on this a little bit, to show what it actually looks like along the way. So we live in this Instagram society of highlight reels, right? Or we'll read, about Steve Jobs crying under his desk, but not until he's already sort of like a demigod in the space. And so it doesn't feel, when I know what it feels like to be an entrepreneur in the trenches, and to feel very alone, and to feel like I'm certainly doing it worse than anyone ever. And when they say when you get knocked down, get back up, I'm like, no, but really, because it seems like I'm just gonna get knocked down again. Surely there's got to be a better way, So we take that role very seriously, and having, I've been through this a couple of times, and with varying degrees of failure and success. It's true what they say. I've learned so much more from the failures than I have from the successes. And I think that if people could actually see more of that along the way, what that actually looks like, I think that we can really help a lot of other businesses that have, similar intentions, similar BHAGs, as we say, just have a different model to look to. So we've spent a lot of time talking about what the existing corporate model looks like, and corporate structure. I did a TED Talk on gender bias in business. And I guess this is our answer to, this is where we want to create our own game. And we're not the only ones doing it. You know, Abby Wambach just released a great book called Wolfpack, and it's a quick, easy read talking about like, let's have different rules to the game. And so we are, you know, willing to, and whether this is smart or the exact opposite, I guess remains to be seen. That's part of it. But we're like, live out loud along with us, and we're gonna fall down, and you're gonna see that. And I hope that what you see is us picking each other back up, and not only us, but a community, you know, rallying to support that.
Yep. Well, and I think it's really inspiring because when you're trying to do big, hard things, it's never just a straight path, and it's never just. And anyone who tells you that's, well, I just started my company and boom, it was $1 million. I mean, they're lying,
Right.
You know,
They're just liars.
Yeah, and it's really important for people to understand all that goes into it, and I think it makes it more meaningful, particularly when you have a company like Sudara that is all about meaning and all about mission. With our last little bit of time here, can you guys talk about some of the changes you have for the Sudara business strategy coming up? I think those are pretty exciting and fall into the
Yes,
category.
For sure. We've got a few BHAGs. Yes. So Sudara we've been, you know, very blessed to have an amazing community support in what we call the direct consumer channel. So selling online and people going on and buying pajamas for themselves or all their friends, or maybe let's say all the, you know, presents, just some ideas.
Right.
But beyond that, we recognize that in order to scale in a significant way and be able to help more women have opportunities to get out of sex trafficking in India, that the way that we do that is jump kind of into the wholesale lane. And to do that, we recognize that we could further the mission and kind of mirror what we're doing with independence through job creation in India for women in sales and marketing roles in the United States or wherever Sudara goods are being sold.
Right.
So we have this opportunity to grow the model and the mission at the same time. So we're looking at things not just wholesale, how you would think of in retail, like at boutiques or, you know, on up to big department stores, but we're also looking at a more enterprise level where we are going to bigger companies and talking about their corporate social responsibility initiatives and how they might be able to kind of shift their budget that they're already spending to go, you know, into more of the impact space. And whether that's with Sudara or whether that's with other impact companies, you know, we don't claim to be the answer or the solution for everyone, but hopefully we can be a great model to say, here's how larger corporations can form this really powerful symbiotic relationship with impact companies like ours to make a really big difference that can be felt around the world.
And Shannon, can you talk a little bit about this notion of shifting M&Ms and how that kind of fits in?
So we, I think we love to talk about things like big concepts in a really practical way. And so as Lisa and I were talking about this with our team, it's really this notion of conscious consumerism that people maybe hear, but is that ethereal? What does that really look like? And so we talked about, you know, it's their M&Ms, whether it's money, you know, and resources and budgets. So for women or others who are in large companies, CMOs, sales folks that have big budgets, or whether they are consumers that are, you know, stay-at-home moms that have budgets over their own home, we all have resources that we get to choose how we want to allocate them. So we're not sort of saying you have to spend more money, we're just saying whatever you have, whatever your M&Ms are, whether they're a small pile or a large pile, we can choose how to spend them, and we're just saying shift them from maybe being on autopilot in a more conscious way. So if you are a CMO at a large company, whether it's a tech company, whatever type of company it is, you have these M&Ms and you can choose to shift them from, you know, trinkets and trash and stuff that isn't thoughtful into the impact space, whether that's through Sudara and corporate gifting or event-based marketing or CSR campaigns like Tommy Hilfiger is doing. There are ways that we can consciously shift those M&Ms that do good for the world. So then it's a win-win for everyone, right? For the impact companies like Sudara, for the causes served through those companies, and then for the employees. If you think about employee retention and engagement, those employees being activated to know that their gift is like doing good in the world, you know, that's that halo effect where there just isn't a downside.
Well, you guys have a lot of great changes coming up, and it's been so fun to have this talk. I feel like it flew by. Any last thoughts for the people out there?
Ooh, well, follow along. So we really are. We're hopping on a plane right now. We're going to be doing some more lives and being a lot more, Shannon and I will be a lot more vocal on social media as we kind of go behind the scenes. So after Amsterdam, we're actually, because that's not going to be enough fun, we're going to hop on a plane and go to India to visit some of our sewing centers and vocational training centers there. And just to be able to tell a lot more of the story and what we're doing with Sudara and where we really need, you know, the community support to continue that. So it should be pretty fun.
It's going to be really fun. So thank you to you, Kelly, and to Lisa, and to our community. I mean, we really, Sudara is nothing if it's not for community believing in what we're doing and women helping women, invest in women. I mean, that's just our mantra. So behind the scenes, we'll be delving into that in a much deeper way. So please follow and share.
Yes.
Great. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.